quick video for Bitcoin here. This is the current daily on Bitcoin. We did get a big pop. We had a unicorn set up long. That was set up by yesterday's daily candle, and we screamed higher off of it. And I just wanted to show that we are breaking up out of this symmetrical. As the day has gone along, we have since sold back down. We initially pumped up here, and now we were selling back down. And it'll be interesting to see how we close in about 4 hours 43 minutes. If we will get a red reversal candle that could get us back down into our symmetrical pennant and could lead to the sell-off. If it's a green candle, it'll give me a little less optimism that we will come down. Overall, I still do think that we will come down and sell off at some point, but the bulls were able to get this pump today and caught a little bit of it long. I was looking to see if the daily high would break because this was a pretty decent setup to go long off of on the daily. Still, things don't look right on the weekly, and I'll show that here in a sec, kind of go over what we've looked at before. But I saw the 8 rolling up above the 10. This was a green inside candle. Moving averages are tight right here. And then once I saw the daily high around 70,800 break, I knew that this was probably going to go and squeeze, and sure enough it did, because we were breaking trend lines. You know, daily highs are getting broken, and you know, a lot of people were looking to short here. I was one of them, but I reversed once I saw this daily high broke, and I went long on Bitcoin, caught some profit, took a little profit around the 1,000 SMA, and it squeezed up to my trend line before selling back down. I actually hit my trend line perfectly that I had coming across. Going back to February, Sunday, the 8th of February, then on hit a point, the high of the day on March 5th, so last month, or sorry, last week I should say. This was last month, this was last week's high, and then we came up and barely broke last week's high. We broke it and then we sold off. So usually when you break weekly highs, you keep going. But so this is kind of interesting. What was the high on this? 70,913. What was this high? I guess technically this had a higher high right here. This was 74,000. So we did not actually break last week's high. 74,000 was not broken. Or maybe that was 2 weeks ago. Let's look at on the weekly. Very interesting how they are doing this. Wow, look at this. So this is a weekly time frame. So this green candle, this inverse hanging man style candle, you know, inverse green hammer. You know, we had no lower wick this week when the markets opened after Sunday at 7 o'clock. We barely pulled back and just shot up off of this candle. And yeah, it looks like 74,000 was the high, and we did not end up breaking this weekly high yet. So we got very, very close, and we got just above the 8 moving average right here, the 8 EMA. Just pierced a little bit through it and wicked above it a little bit, and now we've sold back down. So it's kind of interesting that we still have no lower wick on the weekly. You know, not even a real lower wick, you know, in the past 2 weeks. So that's also kind of making me think that we are going to come down at some point to, you know, clear stops down here. We just pumped off this red candle, and it's not the worst looking red candle to get up off of, but it's still, you know, we've been trading down, and I think this is kind of our dead cat bounce, you know, just a little bit of a relief rally. You know, same with this week. We're getting relief rally back up. here come the weekly moving averages. They're catching up. They're coming down here. So, I don't think Bitcoin has too much higher it can really go. I mean, could we see, last week's high right here broken? And maybe we squeeze up a little bit, maybe near our 20 up here. I mean, that's 84,000. That would be crazy, and you don't usually typically see that, with this candle set up. You would get a close kind of like maybe this candle closes like near the top. So Sunday 7 o'clock, maybe we get a close around 73K Bitcoin. It's a big fat inside green candle, and then we pump up. And by that time, the 20 will roll down probably to 81K. Maybe that's where we get up to if we get this close like this. I mean, we still have 2.5 days where this could come down, and maybe we end up getting a red, but a lot's going to have to happen over the weekend. We're going to have probably a green candle close going into Sunday. So it makes me think that we could still come up maybe one more time before rolling over. That is a possibility. Short term, bulls are in control, but I think ultimately in the longer term, we will come down and clear those stops. I really do. Here's the 2-week. We're pumping dead flat on the bottom off of an inside red candle. Here's the 8 and the 10 up here, so there's still a little bit of ways up here. This is this yellow line right here that I'm hovering over. This is the neckline of our cup and handle that we had, the pattern that I've talked about, before. If we zoom out, here's the cup, right in here. And here's the neckline that comes across. And so maybe that's a target we get up to. Now let's zoom back in and see where that's at. Just 1 second. So where is that at? Right at around 75 to 76,000. So maybe we do come up sometime in the next week or two to 75, 76,000. The 8 and the 10 are going to roll down tight, Sunday at 7. And maybe that's it. So I'm thinking Bitcoin, max, I'm thinking anywhere between 75 to 81, 82K, I still don't think that would look right with the weekly setup we have, but I mean, it's got potential to get up there if it wants to. One last little hoorah before a big sell-off, and I really do think it'll be a big sell-off down to, it could be sub 50K, right around that 50K area, and that's a pretty big percentage move down there from where we're at. But let's look at the 3-week, and the 3-week's an inside red. So we have an inside red 2-week and an inside red 3-week that we're up against, and we're dead flat on the bottom. I'm telling you, like, this is not a bottom. This is not something you just get back and rally off of. This is not a bottoming setup. We want to see our lower wick green candle. Whether it's a inverse hanging man style candle with a low body. I mean, I would really like to see a green hammer, with a, not too long of a lower wick, but, maybe a decent sized lower wick. Maybe something like this candle right here, only green. This is what I want to see, a big, big fat green candle hammer that shows momentum coming back up. And I hate when we just get these dead cat bounces because it just takes forever to get this setup going, where I can, get excited to look long. There's no lower wick off this candle, and it just creates problems in the future. Maybe they chop this around, for a few more weeks until they, want to come down and grab these stops. And, I just hope that I can be in those trades when it happens, because, I think playing things short is the best way to go right now. I mean, I just don't think there's too much room to the upside. I mean, if you want to try and long Bitcoin to try and get up to around 80K, I mean, go ahead, but I just think, longer term we're going to be coming down. is the play, and I just want to make a quick video still showing that yes, we did get a pump today. But you know, look, it's weak now. Like we got up very strong this morning. I was watching it, took some profit up here on a long, and then I reversed short once I saw that 15-minute red bar come in, and it was a big red bar. So I was like, all right, we hit a trend line, we're rejected, we're coming back down, and so now we're in the profit short. But you know, I got a tight stop from where I got in. I got in short like right around here, right around 72,900 I think is where it was. I put a stop at right around 74K, and right now I'm kind of free rolling it because I put my stop as my entry, so I'm just free rolling this. And who knows, maybe this could be it. Maybe we get the red inverse, we drop, maybe we chop around here a couple days, and then dump it. And I have my measured move. This is a crazier measure move, but there's 40K down here. Here's a trend line. Here's 49K, and this is my 55K range. So I got 3 targets I'm looking at, and I'll take a third of profit here. I'll take a third of profit here, and I'll take the rest of it down here. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Now, if we get up, we set up. Maybe over the next week or two. Like if we get up, come up here, we don't get rejected too hard, and we get a setup candle to go higher off of, then I'll reverse and I'll look long. But this was a nice daily we got yesterday. So I tweeted out something that like, hey, we have a unicorn daily setup to go long off of versus a unicorn weekly to go short on. And like I've said in previous years, it's always best to kind of trade the dailies. The weeklies kind of give us a guideline of what should be happening along the way, but the dailies is honestly the best thing to trade. And this was a unicorn kind of long here, although the weekly kind of told us like, hey, this is probably not going to sustain, for a big move up. So that's why I was quick to take profit, because the weeklies just said, hey, we're not ready to go on a big run higher. So I knew that we'd probably see a nice little move with this setup. I mean, this was a really nice setup here. I mean, we're peeking out of our trend line of our pennant that we have that goes all the way back up here in January and comes down, touches, a few points. The last couple days, the top wicks we've had on these candles hit the trend line, So, wicked up, sold down, wicked up, sold down, but we got a green. And then yesterday we sold down into the moving averages and then got our hammer. And then once the daily high of yesterday breaks, then it squeezes. Because look, you're coming right out of this trend line. Like, good solid move, So I was able to, kill my shorts, which, I wasn't happy. I was hoping we'd get a reversal candle in here, but it set up, and sure enough, boom, I reversed, went long, and then took profit, and now I'm, I don't have the candle to go short, but, I'm thinking that there's a shot here. There is a small shot where this could be close inverse red hammer. We sell off, set up down here, and then dump. Maybe before that last week in March. So we'll see if that happens. But just wanted to give a quick little update on that, and I'll make more videos when I see more setups and stuff like that.